right, let's do this. How are you, what the fuckers, what the fuck buddies, what the fuck nicks? What's happening? It's Marc Maron. This is my podcast. Someone gave me a heads up that there was a little audio tribute or shout out to the show by Mulaney and Kroll on their, what is it? Oh Hello? Is that it? The two old guys. Yeah, the Oh Hello podcast. The Boy for Sale episode. But apparently they copped our music, and I'm not coming after them for it. I thought it was fair use. Nice tribute. I took it in a positive way, which is, I'm sure, how they meant it. How's it going with you guys? How's the baking and whatnot? I'm wary to bake. It's gotten hot here in LA, so my air conditioner just doesn't hold up when it gets real hot. So I've been cooking things out here in the studio kitchen. Someone asked me why do I have a kitchen in my studio? I don't know if I haven't explained this or if it's necessary to explain it again. I had to make the garage here at this house into basically another house in order for it to be up to code. So that took a while, and I was broadcasting out of one of the bedrooms upstairs in the house. And now I'm out here, but there's a kitchen here. Someone could live here. God forbid my mother, my brother, my father needs to live here. And I say God forbid in a nice way, but God damn it, no. Please, no, not that. In a nice way. Anything but that, please. I'm saying that with love. Everything moves forward out here. You know, I don't even want to think about it. Got enough on my plate right now. Do I, though? Do I? By the way, Laura Linney is on the show today. The amazing actress, Laura Linney, is here. She's going to be on, well, she's not here, but she's on the show. Ozark Season 3 premiered last month. You can watch all 3 seasons of that. But watch her movies, man. I just watched You Can Count on Me. I just rewatched that Lonergan movie. What a fucking great movie. God damn it. Yeah, but she's been in a lot of movies. The Savages, I was gonna rewatch that, but we ended up watching Ace in the Hole and some Eliza Hittman movies because I want to talk to her. But I'm starting to not only get used to doing conversations like this with a video hookup, but there's something unique about them. I thought I could only see the possibilities of negative things about in terms of having the mediated conversation, mediated being they're not sitting in front of me. But there is something about doing it this way, too, that is okay, if not unique, in that I seem to be getting the same depth or quality of conversations, but there's something a little different about them that's not a bad thing. It's a different thing. It's a good thing. So, I don't know what you guys have been up to. Are you just kind of repeating things? I have been digging into the past, I think is a favorite pastime. That bit that they did on SNL that A.D. Bryant did at the end of this last SNL from home, which I find very touching. You know, I don't really watch SNL with any regularity, but there is something sort of leveling about having to do it the way they're doing it. There's sort of a vulnerability to it because there's no audience, there's no crew. They're having to shoot these things with whoever they have to shoot them with. So it's all kind of homemade. The weird thing about entertainment at this point in time is that 90% of it looks like an audition tape. And there's a vulnerability to that. To not having that interaction with the audience, to only having the interaction with the camera, to not having a crew, to not having makeup. And you're sort of seeing the almost the raw talent of the people. And it's kind of great. I don't know if I prefer it forever, but as I've said before, I think John Oliver's show is better without the audience, with him just sort of focused and plowing ahead. But the A.D. Bryant bit with her reading her old journals and then kind of losing her mind, I just thought was hilarious. I've been organizing a lot of stuff, going through a lot of stuff, throwing away a lot of stuff, moving stuff around. And it triggers a lot of feelings. You know, looking at old pictures, looking at old artifacts of your life. The life artifacts. Old journals, old writing. I'm going through the boxes, man, to see what got me here. And a lot of it not worth saving. That's the big takeaway. Why am I keeping this? Who's this for? Be a lot easier when I fucking die to not have all this shit for someone else to throw away. But I did have this weird thing about old pets. You know, because I don't know. Are you talking to a lot of people? A lot of people are talking about Zoom fatigue, but maybe it's because my job is what it is. You know, I do interview, but I'm not talking to a lot of people on Zoom or FaceTiming or talking to anybody. It's weird. It's more of a check-in thing. Like, dude, you all right? Yeah, good here. Okay. Checking in. And that's it. But I did end up spending some time to talk to my buddy Sam Lipsyte for about a half hour yesterday, and that was great. I got to do more of that. But it's what I think is odd in thinking about the past and going through things about the past. Like, I can very specifically remember, and this is because Monkey is sick and because I lost LaFonda a few months back. I got an email relating to LaFonda, actually. I'll get back to this. Let's see. Where is that email? Perfect guitar name. Dear Marc, thank you for WTF. I feel like a serial podcast dater who finally found the one for real this time. I especially love that we share a big heart for cats. I have 3, and as is tradition or psychological quirk, they all have several names each. The names they started with, however, are Gizmo, Seven, and May. I feed them catnip often because they live in quarantine all the time, regardless of the state of things right now. I recently purchased a Telecaster, and I felt compelled to find the perfect name. I would never have imagined that name would involve you, but here we are. This evening, as I stared longingly into her Texas tea finish as she lay in her plush case all shiny and new, it hit me, LaFonda. I'm going to name her LaFonda, and I'm going to ask for Marc's blessing. Marc, may I name my Telecaster after your cat? Happy quarantining days to you, and may the president fail at killing you and those you love. Respectfully, Aaron. Yes, you have permission and my blessing to name that amazing Telecaster after my cat, LaFonda. I'd never name my guitars. Am I supposed to? I've never named one fucking guitar. Anyway, but I was reflecting on the memory I have of dogs, cats, these animals I've had in my life outside of gerbils or, you know, I've never had a fish, outside of rodents. But all the cats from my childhood, all the way up to the ones I have now, and the dogs from my childhood, I don't have dogs now, I haven't had in years, I remember very specifically exactly who and how they were as animals. Like, very specifically. Like LaFonda, I looked at a picture of LaFonda the other day because there's one around, and I could completely remember everything about that cat in terms of her behavior, but I can't do that with people. Like, I remember bits and pieces of people, but, you know, look, animals change. They shift, they get older, they get, you know, they sleep a different place, they get a different quirk, they play with a different thing. But the sort of soul, if not soul, the core of who they are, you feel all the time because they're honest. It's all out. They're not hiding anything other than the ability to turn on you, which I guess people do too. And that might be the reason why it's harder for me to remember people, because of what they were hiding about themselves. People shift, and like I have a good sense of a lot of the people in my life, but it's very limited and particular and specific about certain things and the ways they did certain things. But animals, you fucking know them all the way through, and the memories are always going to be the same because they're all out. Honest brokers emotionally. People, not so much. And then you know that's true because you know people when you're younger, and then you meet them when you're older. And you're like, what the fuck happened to you? Where's the guy what happened to that guy? Animals, not so much. It's just sort of like, oh, look at you. You're all old and shit. I do want to mention this. First, on my Instagram stories, I've been almost exclusively posting records that I've been playing in quarantine. Because I've been listening to whole records kind of all day long in the background or sitting there and doing it. Records that I've had that I haven't really given a fair shake to. Like I didn't really ever focus in on the Pink Fairies, but I did yesterday. But I've been sort of posting all of them as I go through them. A lot of the sort of weirder and harder to find records, I enjoy posting those because I like to. It's a sort of like, this is a great album. You probably never heard it. I'm not expecting people to go buy the records, but, if you wanted to listen to it on iTunes, you could. But anyway, so I'm doing that. I am occasionally and sporadically doing Instagram stories. Oh, I did want to say this about SNL. The musical numbers by Pete Davidson are kind of hilarious and very sweet. The whole thing's moving to me. I can't quite understand why, but it is. So, yeah. So I just wanted to give you a heads up about the Instagram stuff. Also, a friend of the show from way back, Dwayne Kennedy, was on a very early version of this show. He was in our book, Waiting for the Punch. He's been this respected, kind of off the beaten path act. Like, a lot of us know who he is. He's been around a long time. He has a tremendous amount of respect in the business. But for some reason, after decades in the business, he's finally releasing his first comedy album, aptly titled, Who the Hell is Dwayne Kennedy? And you can pre-order a copy of it at oakheadrecords.bandcamp.com. That's OAKHEAD, oakheadrecords.bandcamp.com. It's decades in the making, folks. Dwayne Kennedy's album. It's okay to be afraid. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to be frightened. And to be vulnerable in all those things because you can't avoid it. It's a weird thing about concern, that when you're concerned, there's a vulnerability to it. Same with being afraid and being angry. A lot of people think that you're keeping people away, but there's nothing more transparent than anger in terms of how vulnerable you are. It's a dangerous vulnerability because it's volatile, but when you're any of those things, you are, vulnerable or susceptible to being, shit upon or bullied or hurt, because all those things are sort of just chum in the water for fucking belligerent, awful people. But you got to feel them. They're important. They'll help you move through things ultimately, get those muscles working so you don't turn into an asshole. Manage it, your concern, your fear, your anger, but don't shut them down because they'll just come out in tumors and inabilities to breathe, psychosomatic symptoms. You don't want to become one of the belligerent chaos junkies who wants to tear it all down, pay homage to their god Kek in their pursuit of single party rule. Keep open, so we can help people, help ourselves, and maybe things will recalibrate at some point. I also want to say that I got the box of Chinese toilet paper that I ordered, I think, a month and a half ago. It was cheap. There was like 20 rolls, and I was like, this is weird. It came, and they were like miniature rolls of toilet paper. Not bad toilet paper. I bought it in a panic when he couldn't get toilet paper, and this just sort of surprised us. There it was, 20 rolls of what seemed to be half rolls of toilet paper. But we got them. Hey, little toilet paper is not nothing. So Laura Linney, I was thrilled to talk to. We were going to do this a couple weeks ago, and then there was an issue at her place. Her electricity was off, and now we're able to do it. And it was a lovely talk. She's a lovely person and a great actress. And, of course, she's in the series Ozark, which is on now. Or they're all on now. Season 3 premiered last month, and you can watch all 3 seasons on Netflix. This is me talking to Laura Linney. Nice to see you.
Nice to see you.
It's so exciting.